Guess what? I'm going to drive this thing, but I've never driven before. We're going to crash!
I think this will be good.
Today, Bella and Montana are going to turn their hand to driving a horse. This is their first attempt. They are certainly learner drivers. The victim, or horse that will take them forward, is Starlight. He's experienced and very calm. He also has more woe than go, so he is a good choice. The iconic image of a horse driver and his team of well-trained horses meandering down a country lane beautifully captures the charm of yesteryear. The peaceful surround, only broken by the clatter of shod horses, is one that creates a desire of participation. As carefree and as easy as it may seem, the simplicity of this once critical mode of transport belies the mountain of work required in training both the horse and driver. Only when the work is done can the benefits of this incredible team be appreciated. Truly, there is an art to driving a horse. It is so much more than sitting on a bench, holding 2 lengths of leather and expecting the horse to calmly transport you from point A to point B.
Okay, let's have a look. Good, now that's appearing a little bit loose, but it's only because he's sitting back and he's breeching. When he pulls forward, that should pull tight. We can always check that. So trace over the top. Master, that's good. Pull down up. High. That's good. Press that through there. Reins connected. Good boy, mate. Yep. Okay. Looks good. It's ready to go. So what we'll do is I'm going to drive him up onto the road because he's still a little bit uncertain up that grass driveway. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn right and I'm going to take him up to the other end. And then when I get there, then we're going to swap over. Okay? So Tanner, you stay there. Bill, I'm going to get you to jump in the front seat. As soon as you've let him off, you can jump in the back seat.
Yeah.
I don't want you to pull hard, but I want you to keep a little bit of tension on there. Yeah. Okay? All right, that's all good. Let's have a travel fair before we go. Okay, Tanner?
Father in heaven, thank you for this opportunity that you have given us to spend time with these beautiful creatures that you have given us responsibility to care for. I ask that your angels would protect us and keep us safe, and that everything would go according to your will. In Jesus' name, I pray.
Amen. So when you jump in the driver's seat, you're going to be taking over from the person who was hanging on to the horse, if you like, while we're tacking him up, connecting him to the carriage or the wagon. And the purpose for that is that there must always be control over the horse for a safety. So once you jump up, you take the reins and you're not pulling them, but you're just keeping some nice pressure on them. Now, I'm going to get into trouble irrespective of what I say with this, because I've heard 2 people give 2 different thoughts. The first is that you actually sit on your reins, but I actually don't like that, and I had someone else say the same thing. What I want to do is I want to bring the reins and I want to have them sit at my feet. And the reason for that is that if at any point in time I need more rein, I want to be able to have access to it rather than go, oh no, I'm sitting on it. Then I've got to worry about getting up out of my seat and it could get caught. I don't want that. I want to have the reins freely available at all times. So I make sure they are free, but they're sitting at my feet. The other thing that we've got to do is we've got to put a foot in the brakes. Now, we are fortunate to have disc brakes front and rear, so I'm going to use one foot to cover both brakes. This other brake is called a turntable brake, and it's only on four-wheelers, and what that does is it stops the front wheels from spinning. The reason why that's important is the cart is a lot more manoeuvrable with it, but it's a lot more prone to tipping if the wheels get pushed and end up going at a tight angle, like jackknifing it, absolutely. So what I do is I'll put my foot on that, so it's going to prevent that, or at least go a long way to minimising it. So once I've got my foot on both sets of brakes, I can say to the person who's been at the front of the horse the whole time on the lead rope, I now have control. So what they can do is they can let the horse off, and then we're all okay. So I have control.
He's yours.
Okay, so they will say he's yours. That's something that we've developed or worked with, just so that we're very clear on who's got what. Now, being Starlight, he can't hear a thing, so I'm going to have to make sure I've got my whip at hand, and that's simply going to be my mechanism to get him going. Now, because it's a little bit of a hill and a little bit of soft, the ground's a little bit soft, what I want to make sure I do is I want to get a little runner. So I'm not just going to amble to the corner, I'm going to get a bit of speed so that he can get up the hill and he's okay with that. The other point that I will make is that whenever you turn one of these, you have to pretend it's a very long trailer. Because if Starlight turns here, what it will do is it'll bring the carriage through here, and if I've got a post here, it's going to cause the carriage to run into the post. So whenever you steer a carriage, you have to make sure that the horse goes a long way past your turning point before he turns, so that you don't cut the corner and end up getting in all sorts of strife. All right? So I'll give you some more input when we get to the top and when you're running. So I've got my brakes on.
What if my foot doesn't cover two brakes?
Yeah, it'll be just enough to it. The other thing I've got to make sure of is these have a park brake. I've got to make sure I turn that off so that Starlight doesn't have to pull against the brake as well. So he's ready to go. So I'm going to use voice commands even though he can't hear me because it's good practice. So Starlight, walk on. Walk on. Good boy. Up, Starlight. Well, you can bring your sweaty back from there to here. So I'm going to keep tension on these, and I'm going to stand up in front, and you're going to come in behind me and sit down. Go. I'm keeping tension on it. Yeah, sit foot on the brake straight away. Sit. Yeah, pull it forward. Get yourself comfortable. Check your rear view mirrors. Okay, put on the turntable brake. So the other thing is too is even if we're going forward, it's a good practice to start getting used to having your foot on the turntable brake, just in case he decides to do any movements that are a little bit quick sideways. It'll help take that out of the trajectory forward. So that's one here.
But not that.
No, that's only for two purposes. Obviously, if you're slowing down, you need to use that so you don't run up his bum. The other thing is if you're going down a hill, you don't want the carriage to end up going faster than what he is. Now, the breeching will stop that, but it's not comfortable for a horse to have a carriage pushing on his bum the whole time you're going down a hill. All right, so I'm going to give you the reins between your legs. So you're holding onto them, rather run between your fingers and your thumbs here. Now, the reason you do it that way is if you need to, for whatever reason, you're short on rein, you can easily let your fingers slide through it and keeping your thumb there so you've got control over it at any point, because all you've got to do is compress your thumb and you're okay. But it also works the reverse in that if you're long on the rein, what you're going to do is you're going to grab up the reins with your hands. You don't ever let the reins go, because the moment that you let go, you've lost control. So even if you're crabbing up, if at any point in time something's happened to the horse that's caused him to do something, you can still at least clamp with your fingers and pull back or one side if you need to. Okay, now as far as the whip is concerned, I'm going to control that to start with because it's a lot to think about. All right, so because he can't hear, all of his movements are going to be on the whip. So at the moment, you should be able to take your foot off the brake and he'll be okay. We're ready to go, so if he moves forward, it's all right. All right, but the other point that I'm going to make just before we get going is that it's actually a really important point, is that every response that he's going to give you is going to be based on the pressure that you put on him. Now, the pressure that I'm putting on him is by the whip. The pressure that you're going to put onto him is directly to his mouth. But you don't want to keep that pressure there the whole time when he's doing the right thing. The pressure is only there to activate a response. Once he's given you that response, you let the pressure back off because he's doing what you asked. So he's reacting because he doesn't want the pressure. So he's got to go, I've got to get away from that pressure. So he's either going to turn right or he's going to turn left or he's going to stop. They're the things that he's going to do. So when you get him to turn and he's already in a nice turn, you can back the pressure off a little bit. All right, because he's turning. You don't need to keep the pressure on the horse the whole time to keep him turning. Once he's doing what you want, you can back the pressure off. Then if you need him to straighten up, it's not a question of letting the pressure on the inside rein go. It's a question of adding a little bit of pressure on the outside rein. And then once he straightens up, then you let that pressure go. So you only ever want to add pressure when you want him to change something. You understand? Okay, so let's see how we go. Now, I'll talk you through it as we go, but you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so you call it, and I want you to use your voice as commands. All I'm going to do is when you say, Starlight, walk on, I'm simply going to be your voice to him because he can't hear. So I'm not going to say anything to him, you are.
Yeah.
So when you're ready, you say to him, walk on.
Starlight, walk on.
Okay, a little bit of inside rein, that's it. So you want him to go nice and straight. He does that to let you know that all's well. And no, he's not like me.
Oh, yes, he is.
Okay, so I'm going to keep him up, that's it. So I'm only going to respond. I'm only going to do something when you say the command.
Up, Starlight.
Okay, now that was an example of you cutting the corner. It was okay, we got away with it because there was enough space. So what you've got to think about now is as we go around this roundabout, don't bring Starlight here, you've got to bring him way over here before you start turning him. That's it. Because you can see if you turned him sooner,
Keep him to the left.
you're going to end up with him in the garden. So keep him over to the left. That's it. He's letting you know again that everything's well. Oh, that one stunk.
The other one did too, but it got me, not you.
Okay, so I want you to head over towards the middle of the road because we don't want to cut this corner like we did that one. That's it. But see how he's starting to drift? So what you've got to do is you've got to bring him back. Even though there's no cars on this road, you've got to pretend or imagine that this is a 2-lane road and that at any point in time a car can come around that corner. Okay, so see, that's it. So he wants to go in, but we're not going to let him. So what are you going to say to him?
Up, Starlight.
So we give him a little tap and we say, come on, mate. So that was a good example of you having to make sure that you looked ahead. Now you're concentrating on so much at the moment, so you've missed it. But you're looking ahead to see what he's going to do. And you notice straight away that you started to pull, but you didn't have enough rein. As in you had too much rein. And so it's like, well, I'm pulling, but my hand's not going back any further. So what you needed to do was pull forward. That slipping forward of your hand on the rein will get easier and easier and it'll become self-conscious.
That's really my foot on the turn too.
It's a good practice too at this point in time.
My legs just get a little
Yeah, it will get sore. You'll walk around with a huge big left leg and no muscle on your right leg.
will be huge and my right will be tiny.
So at the moment, what I want you to do is just concentrate on where his head's at. Because realistically, his head is where his mind, and where his mind is, that's where he wants to go. So if he was going to think about going down that road, his head would have started to look there. But what you can do is you can correct that by just giving a slight bit of pressure in the opposite direction to what his head's going. So that you're saying to him, no, keep your head straight, keep it going forward, because that's where I want you to go. So again, concentrating on where am I going to allow him to come. Hit him straight for the middle, for the garden. Don't let him cut the corner. Now you can bring him over. That's it. So the only little movements, but at all times make sure you've got enough pressure on those reins so that if you need to communicate with him, that it's not this little bit of movement, that all of a sudden he cops a whack in the mouth because you've been trying to get the pressure back on the rein again. You should be able to, at any point in time, just give a little bit of an arm movement to give that pressure to the mouth so that you can correct anything that he's doing that you don't want him to do. Okay, so pull him over towards the middle of the road more, that's it. So you have to bring your arm all the way back, wind your hands a bit forward, roll them forward. Pull him over to the middle of the road a bit more, that's it. So in the early stages, you're better off sitting more forward in your seat and having your arms out here. That's the more correct position. Anything back here is a lazy position. But if you're back here and you're forward, you have much more movement to be able to control the horse. So that's a better position that you're in now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get him up. Okay, so we're going to go into a nice easy trot down to the roundabout. Just before he gets to the roundabout, I want you to pull him up to a walk. Starlight, up, 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 up. So everything's going to happen a little bit faster for you now because he's moving faster. So any direction that he wants to move into, which is not what you want, it's going to happen quicker. So you need to be trying to think as far ahead as you possibly can. Keep your eyes on his head. Watch what he's doing so that you can respond. Nice. It's good. Okay, that's it. A little bit on that left hand, just a little bit. That's it, to bring him back. Lovely. So I'm going to make sure that he keeps moving, just giving him a tap to say, don't think that it's time to slow yet. So I want you to say, woo, when you're ready for him to start slowing down.
Starlight.
That's it. That's it. That's it. But now, okay, so you're late on the brake. That's okay. Now, we're not going fast. We don't have a lot of weight, but that's just something you've got to think about. Keep him going for the middle. Keep him going for the middle because we don't want to cut the corner. That's it. Now you can bring him around.
That's Starlight.
So all I'm going to do is just, so it's a good practice when you are walking with him, especially after he's, warmed up a little bit, that you do keep him in a brisk walk rather than I'm here on a lazy dawdle. So we'll just keep him up a bit. Doesn't need much, just needs to be told, yep, okay, I've got to get up a bit. So that's about the type of walk that we're looking for. Good, head to the middle. Then when you're comfortable to know that this is going to comfortably clear the corner, bring him back to the centre of your lane. That's it, good.
We're not going to crash. Slowing down.
Yep,
You said we were.
We're not. She's good.
So remember, he tried to
She's a
go
good
there
driver.
last time. Be careful. See, pull that ring. That's it. So that was still a bit slow, but it was faster than last time.
Thoughts?
They're too far away from me to save right now.
He's doing
Your
that.
thoughts are too far away from you.
I'm trying to gather them. I'm still trying to make an informed decision.
Gathering your thoughts.
Yes.
Wise decision.
Thank you.
Well, we didn't crash. That ended up pretty good. I think she did an excellent job. Now, there is a disclaimer that I want to put in here. I'm not an expert. I'm just teaching the way that I've been taught and for the little bits and pieces that I've learnt along the way. So if I've missed something or if I've done something wrong, please don't hold that against me. But we always try and do our best. We're always trying to learn, not only for ourselves, but for the best of the horses. That was Starlight's communication to say that he agrees with everything I said. But in the meantime, we hope you enjoyed it. And as always,
May his love be known and his grace be shown.
Oh, there you are. Lucky I saw you because they forgot to invite you along with the journey. Make sure you hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and share this channel with all your family, friends and community so we can all enjoy this journey together.